Imagine having a French roommate for 90 years, always in your space, calling your home Dahomey. They rearrange your furniture, set the rules, and even decide what language you speak. For generations, Benin's identity was shaped by someone else's hands. Then on August 1, 1960, Benin finally changed the locks. Independence. The country reclaimed its name, its pride, and its future. The streets of Cotonou and Porto Novo exploded with celebration. At last, Benin could shape its own destiny, free from colonial rule for the first time in nearly a century. The French left behind their language, baguettes, and a shaky political system. French culture lingered in daily life, from street signs to the morning bread. Benin's first leaders, like Hubert Maga, were eager to build schools, hospitals, and a strong economy. They dreamed of a nation where every child could learn and every family could thrive. But freedom isn't just a party, it's hard work. Roads needed fixing, jobs needed creating, and hope needed to be turned into reality. Suddenly, Benin had to answer tough questions. Who's in charge? How do we make money? How do we build an economy that works for everyone? How do we unite so many different groups? Benin is a tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions. The joy of independence quickly met the reality of nation building. The celebrations faded, replaced by the challenges of governing. Kicking out the French was easy compared to agreeing on what came next. The debates were fierce and the stakes were high. Benin stepped onto the world stage full of hope, and a bit of uh-oh what now? The eyes of the world were on this young nation. The first years were a test. Could Benin turn its potential into a stable, prosperous country? The pressure was on to deliver real change. The world was watching, and Benin was ready to prove itself. But the journey ahead would be full of unexpected twists. But the next act would be anything but smooth. Benin's story was just beginning, and the road to true independence would be long and winding. Benin's first decade of freedom? Pure political chaos. Between 1960 and 1972, governments changed faster than you could keep track. Presidents, military committees, even three-man teams. It was like musical chairs, but the music never stopped. The economy suffered as leaders fought for power instead of fixing problems. Ethnic and regional rivalries fueled the instability, making it easy for the military to step in. People hoped a strong hand would bring order, but it was just a temporary fix. The country was stuck in a loop of coups and counter-coups. Democracy faded into the background as the dream of stability slipped away. Benin needed a leader who could break the cycle. Enter Mathieu Kérékou, a man with a plan and a very serious look. He was about to change everything. The stage was set for a dramatic new chapter. The merry-go-round was about to stop, but at what cost? In 1972, Army Major Mathieu Kérékou seized power in a dramatic coup, ending years of political instability and uncertainty in Benin. And this time, it was different. The people sensed a new era was beginning, though few could predict just how much would change. Kérékou declared Benin a Marxist-Leninist state, renaming it the People's Republic of Benin. The flag and anthem were replaced, symbols of a radical new direction. The government quickly took control of banks, businesses, and farms. Suddenly, the state was everyone's boss and private enterprise faded almost overnight. Revolutionary committees sprang up everywhere, enforcing the new ideology. Dissent was not tolerated, and opposition voices were silenced. For a while, Kérékou's iron rule brought stability. The coup that had plagued Benin's past finally stopped, and order returned to the streets. But the economy struggled under state control. Inefficiency and shortages became the norm, and daily life grew harder for ordinary people. The dream of a worker's paradise faded as reality set in. Factories slowed, and hope gave way to frustration. A whole generation grew up under Marxism, learning slogans in school and seeing Kérékou's face everywhere, from classrooms to public squares. Discipline and order ruled, but so did fear and hardship. The promise of equality was overshadowed by daily struggles. The promise of a fairer society soured as the command economy faltered. Protests and discontent began to simmer beneath the surface. The paint was peeling on Kérékou's red revolution. The bright banners of the past now faded in the harsh light of reality. After nearly 2 decades, the grand experiment was running out of steam. The system that once promised so much was now exhausted. The people were restless, and the world was changing. Winds of reform were blowing across Africa and beyond. Benin was about to face a turning point, a moment that would test the nation's spirit and resilience. Would the chameleon change his colors again, adapting to survive as he had before? The answer would surprise everyone, both inside Benin and around the world. The next move would make history, setting Benin on a new path and inspiring a continent. By the late 1980s, Benin's Marxist party was out of steam. Its revolutionary promises had faded, and the country was running on empty. The economy was broke, businesses shuttered, and workers went unpaid for months on end. Frustration simmered everywhere. People were fed up with empty stores, empty wallets, and empty promises from leaders who seemed out of touch. Protests and strikes became a daily reality as students and workers demanded something better. Globally, communism was collapsing, the Berlin Wall fell, and the Soviet Union was crumbling. The world was changing fast. President Mathieu Kérékou saw the writing on the wall and realized Benin couldn't ignore the winds of change. Instead of clinging to power, he made a bold move, calling a national conference in 1990 to chart a new course. For 10 days everyone, opponents, union leaders, religious figures, students spoke their minds, debating Benin's future openly. Kérékou listened as the conference stripped him of his powers and declared Benin a democracy, a stunning turn of events. A new constitution was written, and elections were scheduled. Kérékou ran, and lost, accepting the people's choice. He peacefully handed over power to Nisfor Soglo, setting a powerful example for the continent. The chameleon had changed again, from Marxist red to democratic rainbow, adapting to survive and thrive. Benin's peaceful transition stunned Africa and the world, showing that change could come without bloodshed. No civil war, just a national conversation, proof that dialogue could triumph over division. It was a masterclass in stepping back from the brink. Benin had reinvented itself, again, with hope in the air. The future was open, and hope was back for a new generation. Democracy had a new home in West Africa, and Benin's story inspired others to dream of change. Benin is the birthplace of Voodoo, real, complex, and central to its identity. The government even made Voodoo an official religion with its own holiday. This deep cultural pride helped Benin build a unique democracy. Since 1990, Benin became a model for peaceful elections in Africa. Presidents came and went, power changed hands without violence. Even Kérékou returned, won the presidency again, and retired peacefully. Benin proved democracy could have strong African roots. The country's blend of tradition and modern politics created rare stability. People chose ballots over bullets, focusing on development and heritage. Benin isn't perfect, corruption and poverty remain, but its foundation is strong. It's a nation confident in its past and present. Ancient and modern, spiritual and political, Benin stands out. Calm, resilient and proud, it's found its own way. In 2025, Benin is still vibrant but facing new challenges. President Patrice Talon's reforms have sparked debate. Supporters see progress, critics see shrinking freedoms. The democratic model is being tested as opposition voices struggle. Benin stands at a crossroads: development versus political openness. Economically, Benin hustles. Its port is vital for trade with Nigeria. When Nigeria's border is open, business booms. When it closes, things get tough. The government is pushing agriculture and tourism to diversify. Benin's history and culture, like the Amazon warriors and Ganvi's Lake Village, are drawing global attention. The return of looted royal treasures from France is a huge deal, restoring pride and identity. It's about more than artifacts, it's reclaiming history and dignity. Benin is leading a new relationship between Africa and Europe. The country's potential is huge, but progress is slow and steady. Through it all, Benin's culture remains vibrant and its people resilient. The little giant is making big moves. Benin's biggest challenge now? Keeping its democracy strong. The country must ensure open, fair competition so everyone has a voice. Protecting hard-won freedoms is key to staying a beacon of hope. The economy needs to create jobs for a fast-growing, ambitious youth. Moving beyond trade with Nigeria means investing in farming, tech, and tourism. Turning cultural wealth into economic strength is the next big goal. Security is another hurdle. Instability in West Africa is close by. Benin must stay vigilant and work with neighbors to keep peace. By blending tradition with democracy, Benin can lead by example. It's a nation that's overcome chaos, coups, and communism with resilience. The future is complicated, but Benin's strengths are real. Culture, peace, and hope. The little giant of West Africa is still punching above its weight, and its story is far from over.